welcome to class. So glad you're here today. We are going over Chaturanga Dandasana, most commonly called Chaturanga. So sometimes I hear it called a yogi push-up or yoga push-up, but almost always Chaturanga. You'll get very familiar with this pose if you do a regular yoga practice. So this pose, out of all the other poses I teach, I try so hard to teach it correctly, and it's done incorrectly most often, especially with new people coming into my class. My regular class people, they've got their chaturangas down pretty good. New people, and I'll show you in a second what I see most often, but we really want to work on this to build up our arm strength. So one thing that I see people doing a lot is when I cue chaturanga, they just go ahead and lay down on the floor. Okay, so you'll build a little bit of arm strength that way, but we really want to go into the full pose to build up arm and wrist strength. So having said that, that is the benefit of the pose, is we're strengthening arms, shoulders, even legs, okay, toes, really developing core stability. So if you can keep that core lifted in chaturangas, they'll be this much easier. A kind of fun benefit is chaturangas are really preparing you, for life, to be able to lift more and do more on your own, but they also prepare you in yoga to do some really fun inversions and arm balances. So whenever I cue an arm balance, I'll say, think of chaturanga arms, and I'm talking about this like 90-degree bend here. All right, so having said all of that, chaturanga is hard. So if you're a brand new yoga person, this might be too hard for you, and you'll really want to consider taking the modifications, maybe taking breaks occasionally, and just really monitoring those wrists. Okay, so if we're noticing wrist tension, hopefully not wrist pain, come on out, take a few breaths, evaluate. All right. The props that we'll need today, we're going to end class at a wall. Okay, so hopefully you have a blank wall nearby. I love a couple blocks, a strap, and then the bolster is just here for the end of class if you want to put it under your knees. All right, let's practice. Okay, so starting in Sukhasana, that's our easy pose. Going over a nice breath today. It's a 3-part breath, okay? So all it is, in my mind, is to build intention through our breath, okay? So as I cue, notice the breath in your belly. Notice your belly expand, chest expand, the sensation in your throat, and then just reversing that as you exhale, the sensation moving out of your throat, into your lungs, and out of your belly. The last part of a breath is belly lifting, okay? So let's take a few breaths in our 3-part breath. Sometimes it's nice to rest hands on your tummy. Other times it kind of distracts me. I don't know. So hands on belly if you like, closing your eyes and just taking a nice breath or two just on your own, just kind of relaxing the shoulders down. All right, let's go into that 3-part breath now. Inhale, notice your belly lift, chest, throat. Exhale, think of throat, chest, belly. Inhale, belly, chest, throat. Exhale, throat, chest, belly. Inhale, belly, chest, throat. Exhale, throat, chest, belly. All right, let's take one little wrist stretch here now. Just bringing your hands in by your armpits and just kind of chicken winging it a little bit. Next up will be child's pose. So go ahead and set up for that. I'll show you a wrist stretch here that we want to do as well. So hips dropping down to heels, arms stretching out in front of you. Take your nice child's pose, and then bring your palms so that they're facing one another, okay? And then after you do that, make a fist and just gently draw that fist back towards you. Take a breath or so here. And then slowly coming up, tucking your toes now, coming into a toe stretch. So might not be able to stay here long, but it's nice to warm up ankles and toes. And you might just kind of wiggle your arms out, shake them out. That's another form of a wrist warm up. All right, let's come into a nice arm stretch now. So coming into our tabletop pose, we'll inhale our right arm up, take a big twist here, And then exhale, right shoulder down. The palm is up. Come to your right side of your head. Maybe stretching your left arm out in front of you. Take a few breaths right here. If you're noticing weird head and neck stuff, you can bring your bolster in or a block and just kind of rest your head there and just see. We don't want head or neck sensation, more shoulder. So just kind of notice where you're feeling this pose. And then let's draw that left hand back in by your face and inhale, lift up that right arm and exhale, right arm down, shoulder over wrist. Inhale, left arm lifts and exhale, left shoulder down, palm is up, left side of the head down, and then just gently reach that right arm out in front of you. And again, just kind of evaluating if there would be a better way for you to do this pose, please do that. And taking in a couple nice long breaths. Good, bring that right hand back in by your face. Inhale, left arm lifts, big twist. Ooh, okay, good job. Left hand down, step back to a brief plank, and then put your knees down, go into child's pose. We're taking that a few times, just continuing with the wrist warm-ups. Plank, knees down, child's pose. Good, plank, knees down, child's pose. All right, what we want to do in our Chaturangas before we totally start our practice, we really want to see if we can get this elbow to stack over wrist. So you see if I hold with just my normal plank and bend my elbows, that elbow is not over the wrist. So what we need to work on is a little bit of wrist strength so that when we go forward over our wrists a little bit, our wrists can handle that. And then we bend our elbows and you can see the bone stacking there, hopefully. Hopefully elbow is over wrist there. That's what we're looking for. The bones are the strongest part of our structure. That will support us the best as we build strength through our arms and shoulders. Okay, so let's try just a typical vinyasa. So come on into your plank. Let's lift into our downward facing dog. And then come back into your plank. Maybe your knees come down. See if you can go a little bit over the wrists. And come into your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Oh, tops of the feet pressing in, good. And exhale into your downward facing dog. Feet about hip distance apart, lifting your hips, pressing your heart back toward your heels. Couple of breaths here. Nice, let's slowly begin now to walk your feet up to your hands, up to the top of the mat. Inhale with your half lift and exhale, fold. We'll do a couple more of those. Inhale, half lift, exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift, exhale, fold. Bend your knees, plant your hands. And let's step back, find plank. Knees or toes lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, or you might take a child's pose wrist stretch here. If any tension is building up, let's take care of that. Awesome, back to your downward facing dog. We'll step, walk, or hop, feet up to hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand. And exhale, hands to your heart. Full vinyasa. Inhale, arms up. Maybe a little back bend, hips pressing forward, fingertips behind. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, step back, find plank. Knees or toes, jet forward a little bit, lower into your best chaturanga. So we're not touching all the way to the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, good. I want to show you one more thing, kind of workshop one more thing, and then we'll go into a nice flow. So come to your knees, and let's draw the blocks in. medium level, about shoulder distance apart, okay? We'll place our hands right in front of the block. This is just going to give us a marker. So if we're still tempted to go all the way down to the floor, this will just give us maybe a little bit of muscle memory. Oh, that's how far we go down, just till our shoulders would about touch a block, okay? So step back, find your plank. Let's lift into a down dog for a brief minute, a brief breath or two, I guess. All right, let's roll forward, find plank, knees or toes, lower down, chaturanga. That's about how far we want to go. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, good. Look back through the knees, lift the hips. Take another breath or so, and then we're coming into a balanced pose. So we'll slowly begin walking our feet up to the middle of the mat, hands back to the middle of the mat. And let's take a little bit of a deeper forward fold, maybe binding your elbows. Okay, we can also always be on stack blocks. Really tight hamstrings might be here. Okay, just play with the props, play with your body until we can find a nice way for you to stretch your hamstrings here. Ton of sensation behind the knees. Try a little micro bend. All right. Let's slowly roll up now, one vertebrae at a time, head coming up last, and we'll come into our balance portion of class. I'm going to face the camera. You guys stay right where you're at. Weight through the left foot. We're lifting the right knee up. Binding with both hands, tucking it in nice and tight. Okay? I'm sticking with the knee today. If ever you wanted to work on straightening, you could reach your right hand down, wrap your peace fingers around your right toe, and work to straighten from here. Okay? I said I'm going to stick with the knee balance today, and we're here for another breath. Open up, knee, or if you're with the straight leg, that would look more like this maybe. Key to balance, look at something that's not moving. So I was just looking at myself in the camera. Got to keep your gaze at a neutral, stable place. Bring that knee or leg back in. Grab both sides of your waist and now straighten it out and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down. Weight through the right toes now. Lengthen up and we'll slowly lift that right foot. Well, we're lifting right knee. Lifting left knee. Okay. Left knee up. Here we go. Pull it in nice and tight. If you wanted to try reaching down with your left peace fingers wrapping around your left toe and work to straighten, I'll model this on this side. Straight leg or bent knee, balance and breathe. And then nice and slow, let's open that up. Good. Take another breath. Slowly bring it back in. Grab both sides of your waist now. Leg straightens. Everybody lift for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Getting that core fired up. Let's take a vinyasa. Inhale. Arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to plank. Lower down. Knees or toes. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, very good. Let's feel good here. If your wrists are tired, take your child's pose. Right. And I'd like you to make sure that your blocks are at the top of your mat for this next little sequence. Okay, we'll be coming into a brief warrior one. So look up at your hands. Let's bring our right foot up between our hands, left heel down, warrior one. Good. Open up to warrior two. Right arm reaches out in front, left behind. That nice good bend is still in your front knee. Knee tracking over ankle. Inhale. Exhale back to warrior one. And from here, coming into crescent, just popping off that back heel, crescent lunge. You maybe will notice it deeper in that left hip flexor. Then from here, playing around with coming into warrior three. So I'm just going to reach my chest forward, reach my hands in front of me, and find these blocks. As I straighten my right leg, left leg lifts off, flexing through that left foot. Warrior three, supported warrior three. Inhale and exhale. Slowly lower that back foot down. Keep your blocks where they're at. Plant your hands around your right foot, step back to plank. Knees or toes lower down, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, take another breath here. Then we'll look up at our hands, bring your left foot up between your hands, set your right heel down, find your warrior one. Open up, find your warrior two. Good. Back to your warrior one. And now into crescent. Come off that back heel. Lengthen and lift. Now we'll play around with coming into warrior three. So reaching forward, ribs down to your thigh. Find those blocks for support, and then straighten your left leg as your right leg lifts off. Couple of breaths. Ideally, blocks are right under shoulders. Use your back muscles, lift that back leg. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lowering down, coming back to, I think it's our last Chaturanga, you guys. Plant your hands, step back, plank. Knees or toes, lower, Chaturanga. Try that jut forward over the wrists, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog, maybe a child's pose. Good. Everyone, if you're in down dog, try bending your knees, pressing your hips back, finding a little more of a shoulder stretch, chest stretch. And then, yes, come down to your knees. We'll take a little toes pose here, resting in. And then coming into our modified camel for a back bend today, all right? With our toes tucked, bring your right hand to the outside of your right foot, kind of right by your ankle. And then just gently lift your hips as you lift your left arm. And exhale, slowly come down. Left hand to the outside of left ankle, inhale. Exhale, lift hips, right arm lifts, hips press forward, forward, forward. And exhale, slowly come down. One more time on each side, or full pose if you wanted to do both at the same time, lifting from here, okay? That's a big pose. Right arm down, inhale, exhale, lift. And slowly come down. Left hand to the outside of left ankle, inhale, exhale, lift. Exhale, slowly come down into a brief hero pose. So tops of the feet pressing into the mat, knees together, kind of move your calf muscles out of the way and settle into your hero. Most of us will want to be on a bolster or a block or two, or all of the above. And I'll just kind of turn around so you can see block right under your seat, feet framing that. Now, if we're getting any weird knee sensations, we would maybe want to consider coming into a half hero, taking one leg out. Okay, so take the version that's very best for you. Staying here for another breath or two. Okay, slowly crawling out of this would be into a down dog would be our next best move, okay? Hands shoulder distance apart, lift into your down dog, pedal the feet, last down dog of class. I don't know, I just like to know these things when I'm a student. Okay, coming down to a seated position. All right, coming into an upward plank or upward table pose. We'll bring our fingers about 6 inches behind us, fingers forward, okay? And then I'm going to demo with bent knees. If you ever want to go straight legs into an upward plank, feel free to do that. Bent knees will be best for most of us. Inhale, exhale, lift. Most of us as beginners, okay? Lift those hips. You might relax your head and neck back. You might want to keep it lifted. Lift the hips 1 more inch and exhale. Slowly come down. Let's take a forward fold. And then we'll just try that one more time. Forward fold. And inhale, slowly come up. Bring your fingertips back behind you. Full upward plank or bend your knees again. Inhale. Exhale, lift. And breathe. And exhale. Slowly come down back to your forward fold. And then to our bellies for an arm stretch. So as we go to our bellies, this is the position I'm looking for with our arms, okay? Palms up, and it'll just feel hopefully really nice through our shoulders, all right? I'm going to just come down to my belly and take my right arm under and then my left arm in front, okay? Both palms up, just kind of snug that up as much as you can. And then from here, tuck your chin. Now, some people's heads reach the floor, others don't. It's not a big deal. Just want to feel that nice stretch. For me, it's right in the sweet spot, right through my shoulder blades where Chaturanga really can work. Okay, 1 more breath. Now just kind of try to separate, kind of walk your elbows closer together, and we'll switch sides. So left arm under first, right arm in front, palms up. Again, if you're wondering about the positioning of that, all right? And slowly tuck your chin. All right, kind of walking the elbows out, tucking the chin is what we're going for. Okay, 1 more breath here. Nice job. Slowly release, walk those elbows back together. From here, we'll make our way over to the wall, okay? So sometimes when I teach just what I feel like is a pretty difficult class, a lot of chaturangas today, right? I like to reward with some nice stuff at the wall. So we'll just be here for a few minutes. I'm placing my short end of the mat up against the wall. I have 2 mats, so if you're like, wait, what's she doing? My top mat is just the only one that's traveling over to the wall with me. So my hip is going right up against the wall and then bringing those legs up. Okay, my seat right as close to the wall as I possibly can, and then hands just resting gently on your belly. Take some nice long breaths, feel your belly expand. And release some tension as you exhale. Feel free to stay here if you want, but if you'd like to, you can just open your legs in a gentle straddle. Not really forcing anything. Just really want to feel good at the end of class today. The end of class every day, okay? We'll take a couple more breaths. Okay, I love to do a shoulder stand against the wall. So while we're here, we're going to take that. Let's bring our legs up. Separate them about hip distance and then bend your knees, okay? Nice deep bend. As we press up, we'd love to have kind of a 90 degree, so we might need to readjust our feet once we lift our hips. So take a big long inhale. Then as you exhale, press into that wall, lift the hips up, and then maybe you'll walk your feet up a little bit. I like to bring my hands on my lower back for support. A big tuck in your chin. So I'll kind of demo what this might look like facing the camera. Okay. We'll lift up. And then you might play around with lifting 1 foot off at a time. Okay,
Okay, inversion's so nice, getting all this nice oxygenated blood that we've been developing through our practice down to these vital organs. Okay, let's plant both feet into the wall, and then we'll slowly lower those hips back down to the wall. Let things equalize out. Just take a breath or two here. Then I like to practice this part with my arms out to a T. Bend your knees again, really tight. Really walk those feet down the wall as much as you can. A nice tight little ball, and then we'll kind of walk those feet over to the right. Okay, I see some people that have a stop here. And if that's you, a block or a bolster just to kind of rest the knees on might be nice. Other people can go all the way to the floor. Then we would just gaze over at our left fingertips. This might be more of a twist than you're used to just because we've got the wall there pressing back against us. Then we'll slowly kind of picture a rainbow, and we're just walking up the rainbow and then back down it to the other side. Taking our prop with us if we need it, and then gazing over to the right. Did I say right last time? Oh gosh. Gazing the opposite way of your knees. Okay, take another breath here. And then we're walking those feet back up to the wall, to the middle of the wall. Then straighten those legs out. Rest your hands on your belly again. Now, some people really love to end class right here. It feels very supported, and it's just a unique way to end class. So if that's you, if you want to stay here, great. Stay here for Savasana. If you are ready to come out into your normal Savasana, just gently roll to your side. Kind of reposition yourself. Then we'll just kind of bring those arms out to the sides, usually about 6 or 8 inches away from your body, palms up. Toes or heels are out at the outer edges of your mat, and just take a little body scan, starting at the top of your head, relaxing and releasing any tension all the way down through your body. Okay. For just a short little meditation today, I want you just to repeat this phrase in your mind. I want you to say your name, so I'll say Jen, followed by this phrase: I love and accept you. I want you just to repeat that 3, 4, 5 times as then you drift off and let your mind float and relax for the last minute or so of class. I love and accept you. If you're able to pause this video and stay in Savasana for 5 or 10 minutes, please do so. If you're ready to come out with me, just begin by wiggling your fingers and toes. Lengthen your arms up above your head, point your toes, and then just gently roll to your side in the fetal position for a few breaths. Nice and slow, pressing back up into a seated position. Hands can stay on your lap or your knees, or bring them to heart center. We'll take our final closing breath. Take a nice long inhale. And exhale. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.